Matt the Camera Guy here, and today all of my stuff has come in to build my film rig for Octane Addicts TV. I'm excited. Stay tuned. Camera Rigs 101. All right, YouTube world, Matt the Camera Guy here, and today we are going to talk about camera rig building. I'm excited. I have just gotten in from Amazon my Filmcity MB600 camera rig. So one thing to note that I did buy like an open package already off Amazon, and I can see that there are no directions, so awesome, the way I like it. Now I bought the whole chassis because that's one of the main things I want to talk to you about, is you've got to start with a chassis. Unless you're just going to custom build one, which I've looked into pricing both, and you know, you just get more bang from the buck for companies like Newer, Filmcity, and you know, just some of these other cheaper companies that produce what you need. Camera Rig 101. 3 things you need to know. You need to have a power source, you need to have a video source, and you need to have a sound source. Keep those 3 things in mind in every build you do, because ultimately, build these things for what you need. And right now, I'm shooting a lot of interviews with Octane Addicts TV, and I'm shooting them in a lot of different locations where I may be outside, I may be inside. A lot of things have got to happen with one rig. And do you want it to shoot multiple cameras? Do you want it to just shoot one camera? Just think about your setup before you get started. Filmcity is a company I found, you know, just searching on the internet. They build decent stuff, so I've always been pleased with their stuff. Now, you know, the camera rig that I built with Rob, I built that with all newer stuff, and I'm just kind of experimenting on just what works, what I like, and what I don't like. Weight is obviously a big thing. So let me give you a quick rundown of what all I have here. All right, 3-pod by Flashpoint. Again, order all this stuff off Amazon. They don't give me any kind of kickback or anything. 3-pod is one of the best tripods, and they're the only tripod I've used for like heavy rig stuff. So I've never had a failure, and we've used these things. I mean, we've put these tripods through their paces. Like when we were shooting Torqued Up TV, the mud bogs, I mean, we have dirt and grind, and these things are battle beast. So for the money, 3-pod, let me save you some money. That's going to cover our base for our build. So now, again, I've already told you about the Filmcity MB600, so we're going to use that chassis. So like I told you, you're going to need power, and we're going to definitely go through all that, and I'm going to show you every detail all the way down to the soldering. So stay tuned for that in other episodes. We have sound, which I have my sound cables here, and this is going to be a pretty pricey item. This is the H6 Zoom, and I love these things. These things are an audio beast. They're a workhorse. And so I'm basically building this rig for, to be put through the paces on daily use. I always like to customize my builds. So I've dug out some old chassis carbon fiber parts off some drone builds that I had left over. So they always make light, good platforms to mount stuff on. You just got to kind of figure out what you want, what all you're running, and what works for you. Now, I know you don't want to see me unbox all this, so let me get all this out, laid out, and I'll be right back. All right, so everything's laid out here. That's everything from the Filmcity rig, the chassis. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you with all the details, but I am going to begin the assembly of this in this video, and then let's talk about where we're going to go after the chassis is put together. as I'm building this, so now we need to see how long it is. Is this thing going to be a shoulder rig? Probably not, but I'm going to put it together as a shoulder rig, and it's very simple. You just take the plug out, because I'm just extending my chassis for my arm pads. And keep in mind, I don't have any directions for this, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to change it all anyway. I'm just trying to see what exactly I have to work with. And another thing is going to be balance. As you start putting components on this, keep in mind if you are going to use a shoulder rig, or I mean just for weight on the tripod in general, you want to keep mindset of center of gravity of where everything's going to go. I learned a lot about center of gravity building drones, race cars, and all that mess, but it just makes your life easier if you keep in mind when you build this thing, balance is everything. Space is limited right now, so as you can see, I have started with a tripod. It is 3-pod. I like their tripods. Actually, when I was working with Matt Motter, he turned me on to these tripods. They are relatively cheap in the sense of a good tripod, and they are definitely a good workhorse. And they've always done well for me. So now this is a Filmcity camera rig. So this is Filmcity's chassis. I mean, if you look at it, if you ever gone to Harbor Freight and seen like what their roll carts are made of, it's kind of like a composite plastic. I mean, it's cool looking. It's going to be pretty durable. And I mean, I think you can get this chassis for around $185 off Amazon, if I'm correct. I think I order, most times I look and see if there's a better deal, open box, what the grade of the, the product is. And I've ordered that and I've had good luck. Now I've also, had some luck where I had to put pieces and parts on it, but this is basically what you got. And that will be our starting foundation for the Octane Addicts TV film rig. So we're going to start doing the modifications on this. We're going to film it and we will produce it at a later time. My schedule is getting hectic again, so it's just time constraints and then when we can get these things edited. But definitely stay tuned because you guys that are like me, that like the hustle, and content creation is a great business to be in now. It's wide open and the world is yours. Stay tuned, guys. I'm Matt the Camera Guy, and we'll see you next week. Matt the Camera Guy here, and today we're going to be talking Camera Rigs 101. See how I this up. Matt the Camera Guy. So what I use on my video, I use, it's just like on the